Definitely. Thank you for having me, man.
You know,
Thank you.
yes, sir, man. Well, we back once again.
Yes, sir.
My name is Alex Rose. I got my boy
Thomas Solano.
Yo, man. It's a No Pressure, No Diamonds podcast, man, and we got a great individual in today, man. And today's gonna be a special talk. Today's gonna be a special talk. We have a great individual in here today. We're gonna be talking. Man, he owns a streaming service, a streaming network. Not even just a service, like an entire streaming network, man.
Awesome.
Black owned, and that's and it's having a streaming service, you know, and being like, I think, is it one of or one of the only? Is it the only black owned streaming network?
Not now. They're popping up here and there and everywhere now. I just seen one the other day called Zeus. But as far as we know, yeah. I'm gonna wait till this so I can put it on silent.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a scarce, position, role, or what we're doing. Like as far as black folks being in it, owning it.
Man, shoot, man, this is exciting, man. So we got Lamar here, man. This is exciting, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
I cannot wait, man, to really tap into this and just talk about the business journey.
Yeah, from
zero to now. So just give the people a little bit about your background, or about where you grew up, where you're from. Let the people know what's going on with you, man.
Okay. I'm from Jersey originally, Trenton, capital, which is kind of a war zone right now. And it's been like that for a minute. That's kind of what brought me out here, or what prompted me to leave there, was there's not really too much opportunity out there if you're not trying to be into something negative. And especially in media, there was no opportunity to be in anything media. Originally, I wanted to, I wanted to be in music. When I initially got out here, I met my partner Dave through my brother. My brother, who I think he shot the Big Sean cover or Wiz Khalifa, one of them, back in like 2011 or so, and he introduced me to Dave from there. So I started off doing, fast rewind a second. Me and my brother and I, as far as moving to LA, I lived in Jersey. He was in DC. One day we just got on the phone and was like, man, I can't do this no more. And 10 days later we left, flew out here. I never been off the East Coast before I landed here. Like, it was kind of just like, all right, let's be out. So within those 10 days, my job ended up transferring me and giving me a raise and putting me at a spot where I was it was cool. Like, I was at the MySpace headquarters in Beverly Hills working there. A couple different places, actually. Hollywood Reporter, I worked there, a couple lawyers' offices and so on. So yeah, within those 10 days of talking about it, we left. I got transferred from my job, I got a raise, and I got accepted to school, which was the Art Institute of California at the time, out in Santa Monica. And he did too. His job transferred him. He got accepted to school and all that. So it was kind of just like, all right, we got to go now. Like, we'd already set it up. I knew one person out here that I kind of knew one person out here, but she, like, I graduated school with, but I didn't know her. But she just happened to be like, yeah, I'll help you, go around, look for places and da-da-da. So she did all the legwork out here. She gave us a scoop on, where to go, where not to go. Cause we were totally like, I don't know what's,
Yeah.
I had never been off the East Coast.
Man, that's a trip.
So it was like, and we lived, man, we got kicked out about 6 places when we first moved out here, just from me and him, like, butting heads or just, being too loud, or them not wanting black people there and trying to throw some kind of excuse out there. So yeah, that was a journey in itself. And then, like I said, I hooked up with my partner Dave through him. Started off doing just writing for the mag and doing ad sales for a True magazine. And then within 6 months, my partner, who is my partner now, Dave, he said, look, just take it over, because you're doing all this other stuff. And like, I just was in the mix of everything, from interviews to writing to, bringing on more people to everything. So my passion, I guess, it was just like, all right, I'm going to just give him this whole thing and let him run it.
Yo,
so I was chief editor within the 6 months.
So is
What?
your background in marketing? Is that what it is, or what was it?
Now it is. When
Okay.
I came here, my background was in customer service. I was an accountant in the Marine Corps for some years.
Hmm.
Um, that kind of stuff. Sales. A little odd. Not really odd. Like I had good jobs. They were like, I worked at a bank. I worked at a place called ETS, which administers like the SATs and all tests that you
Oh,
need to get
okay.
into school, different schools. Um, Worked at a bunch of different places that it never satisfied me.
Hmm.
When I get there, I get comfortable, and then I'd be like, all right, I'd start, doing some foul stuff, or I was just in and out of just doing everything, and I didn't really realize that. Everybody pushes like, oh, you need to get a job, you need to get a job, but I didn't realize that a job it wasn't for me. Like once,
Hmm.
because like I said, once I got used to a job, or once I got learned the position, I would just start doing whatever, coming in late or doing because it wasn't challenging anymore. And I didn't realize that at the time. I'm just thinking, damn, you can't keep a job, man. You must be a loser, and pay your parents like, oh, you moving from this job to this, and you can't tell them like, yo, a job it's not for me, because they from that era where there were no jobs, so they don't
Hmm.
understand stuff like that. So I was going against the grain with everything that I did. I was going against parents, friends, everybody. It was kind of like, yo, this dude is crazy, like. And then I just kind of embraced it, like, all right, that's not the path for me. And then once I started working with Dave in the magazine, that passion came out.
Hmm.
Because like I said, within 6 months, I went from writing and doing ad sales to taking the whole thing over as chief editor. And so that's not like, with any other job, I couldn't have did that.
That just don't happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you said. So I'm gonna kind of want to break down each little section of this, right? So I'm gonna go back to the beginning, where it's like within 10 days, they was like, "Hey, we got to get up out of here,"
Yeah.
and it was gone. Most people, most people is like, "All right, well, maybe I got to get everything in place. Maybe I need to get 1, 2, 3." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially people, they got things to take care of. So they're like, well,
Yeah.
shoot. It's like, you know what? We just gotta go.
Yeah.
Just make a quick decision and
You're
act.
never really ready for the next level. Whenever you think you got to go to the next level and you're scared, you're never really ready. You just got to push yourself, and then you find your way as you're moving through this and that. And then and that's what I knew. That's what I recognized, that nobody's gonna support. Nobody's gonna be like, all right, yeah, do your thing. Da, da, da. Even if they know I'm miserable in the job, they know that I feel like I'm being held back, and I can't really utilize my creativity like you want to. But when you're in an environment where people are used to that, and they're not used to being able to use their creativity and their skills to make money and support themselves, and pursue something that's outside of, yo, I got this 9 to 5 and I hate it, but it's paying the bills right now. Then you got to get out of that mindset, which it's a process. But yeah, it's hard to like see past what's in front of your face when that's all you're surrounded by.
That's interesting, because so talk about that process a little bit, or at least like some of the things that you kind of remember about, like, I need to get out of this thing, or
Oh
some of the
man.
thought processes that you would.
So a guy, one of my close friends, named Brian Gentry. Me and him were shooting. I remember I had a broken arm, broke my hand. I punched the fridge for some, crazy stuff. So I remember I had a broken hand, and me and him were doing like little skits. We had came up with this idea for a skit called Little Young Big, and it was like a comedy skit that was like I was supposed to be a rapper, and it was just it was crazy. It's actually one episode I'm on YouTube that's like a lost lost cause. But we were doing that. We didn't really know who to get it to, who to talk to go to the next level. Who do just what do we do in a place where you don't really have people around you that are doing what you want to do. You can't see it. And where I'm from in New Jersey is either an hour away from New York or like 30, 40 minutes from Philly. So those are the two major cities that were biased, and don't nobody feel like going up there every day, you know, to try to meet this person and that person. You just like it's too much. So that's really what had me like frustrated. And I remember we left on July 4th, Independence Day. So I packed all my stuff in my apartment at the time. Put all my stuff in the car. I had a Chevy Malibu at the time, like a 2000 Chevy Malibu.
Oh,
Packed all my stuff.
That, the square one.
Yeah.
Malibu?
I drove down to DC where he was. He did the same thing, packed everything up, put the rest of the stuff in the car. We shipped the car and left out the next morning. And it was like, you know, it was.
How long is that drive? How long is that drive? I never drove across the country before. How long is that drive?
It's like a day and a half. If you drive straight, it's like a day and a half. Like,
what?
I don't think I could do that. I was, you know, people try to get me there, and I was like, I don't know, man.
I did it in 2.5.
Oh, you did?
From California to North Carolina.
Oh, yeah, okay. Okay. Then the 10 goes there, right? Like the 10,
I think, yeah,
10 goes straight there.
We went,
North Carolina.
yeah, but we ended up taking, I think, a little bit different route because we went through the top part of Texas rather than driving through the whole middle of the
whole
state.
Thing. Yeah,
yeah, because I think that'll drive you bananas.
Yeah,
dude. Like
that straight
Texas,
road.
Yeah,
yeah. If you go through the middle of it, before, dude, it would take probably a day just to get through Texas.
So, itself. Yeah,
it'll kind of play with your mind, you know. So
yeah,
day
I was
one,
scared of that drive, man. Yeah. I was like, I'd rather just fly, man. Yeah. He was trying to drive. I was like, no, I can't do that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Man. I mean, I guess the people like it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's, you know, like a vacation.
I didn't mind
like
it.
that. Like I could do a train ride or something like across the country, but not just driving in a packed car with all of our stuff. I'm like, no, I'm not about to do that.
Yeah, it didn't sound fun.
No. Can't even lean back.
Yeah, right.
You all close to the wheel.
And then there was a payday in between that period, so I had the bread to just be like, all right, I'm doing the flight. Like, it wasn't a problem. Like, all right, let's do it.
I think one of the most interesting parts is that obviously you made a decision, but not just made a decision, you took some action. But then in the process of taking that action, there were some things that fell into place, right? Like a friend that wasn't really a friend helping you get you know, figure out some things out here, getting a raise, right? And so I'm sure that helped alleviate whatever stress, if there was any, you know what I mean? Knowing that you're going to come out, you're going to have a little more money, you got somebody helping you to figure some things out. And so I think the lesson for those of you listening is that you got to move forward. You got to take that action. And when you do, trust in the process that things are going to fall into place. Yeah. Maybe not in your time frame. Like his was a great time frame for him. But the most important part is actually taking those steps. And it sounds like you had a willingness to bet on yourself as well.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody was, you know, everybody thought we were crazy. Of course, whenever you do something outside of the, you know, norm, everybody thinks you're crazy and look at you like, especially when you don't have a foreseeable future or plan like that. Sure. You're just like, look, I'm doing it. I'm going off of me wanting to do this, and you know, and I'm going with it. So that was kind of the first experience where I've learned about, or just that whole process where I learned about manifesting things.
Okay.
And I learned that the only thing in the way is time. Like we don't know what time something is going to happen, but if you manifest it and you really believe in it, it's going to happen. It may not happen like, oh, I need something by tomorrow or whatever, but it's going to happen one way or another. So I really, throughout these like 11 years, I really gotten comfortable with that to the point where it's uncomfortable for other people to see me like that because they want to see me worry. You know, when certain things happen and people want to see you react a certain way. And I've just become so comfortable with, you know, manifesting and then really trusting in it. And to where I don't worry anymore. You know, I put something out there and I know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. Time is the only thing we don't know.
Absolutely.
But through that process, is it safe to say that you've just kind of learned how to shut out the outside noise because you trust in the process? Because that is the most important thing, man. That's a big key for those of you listening is shutting out that outside noise. Because even myself, you know, I had family that were concerned, and so appropriately, right? For the right reasons, they care about you and stuff. But you, like you said, the key was when you step outside of that box, and it's not normal. Those that care and love about you, without any negative intentions, right?
Mhm.
They try to kind of protect you, so to speak. But
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
you're not obviously employable. By the way, I'm not either. Like, like, man, I've been
Absolutely.
fired from every job
Me
I've had.
too.
Yeah.
Me too,
And
bro.
so let's, kind of dive into want to talk about like what inspired, because having a streaming service like that's just not. I don't know if it just falls out the sky and as somebody said, man. I don't know. Like what inspired that, inspired that action to take action on that.
Well, we had the magazines, the print and digital magazine, True, R&B, FGM, which is a fashion magazine, and so on. With Dave, me and Dave been working together since I've been out here, pretty much. Um,
Get better, Dave. By the way,
yeah, he's got. I just talked to him. He's not coughing, and he sounds good now. So w- we switched over from print magazines to digital probably before anybody else. Like before I came on, True was like the number 3 magazine in hip hop in the country. But then we switched over to digital because people weren't buying print magazines a little too early. So like, the Source, Double XL, they were still printing magazines, and we were digital, and people wouldn't catch on yet. So it was just a matter of us being like, okay, this is a dying industry.
Head of the curve.
Yeah, so let's go somewhere else. And even though we were a little before our time, eventually people started moving in that direction. Like, Double XL went to digital, and Source and blah blah blah. They all went digital. And then once we figured out that like people aren't getting digital magazines like that, like people don't read digital magazines, it was like, well, what's next? Dave was on a board with another company, another streaming service that was just starting off, and they kept asking us to bring on our content from True and R&B, and they kept saying, we'll do this, we want you on the board, and blah blah blah. And then at the same time, there were probably like 3 other companies that wanted us to bring our content on board, and just our relationships and stuff that we had, and we were like, well, not, like he found out what system they used, and then we just went for it. I remember at the time we were building a company called Cash Crop Today, which is like a Forbes of cannabis, pretty much, like website, and just building our own thing. Like it's less of like smoker and that kind of stuff, but more of what jobs are in the cannabis industry, regulations, and how they change from state to state.
Oh wow,
that kind of stuff. So we built that in like 2017. We had a whole staff, office, and all this. And then one day he came in and was like, "Yo, I gotta show you something." And he showed me the company that we
like
use.
Dave.
He showed me the company that we use now, and I was like, "Let's go! Like we gotta build our own. Like let's go." So that started it, and we actually have 2 apps out right now. Like we have a one called Cannabis TV, which we built 2 at the same time. So between Vyre and Cannabis, they are on the same platform and stuff. We thought we were gonna be able to put both of them with content on both of them, but it was too much. So we kind of just like, that one is live now. We haven't even done with it, and it's all Cannabis. And so
Cannabis. He said it's Cannabis.
Cannabis, like video, yeah, Cannabis TV.
Cannabis inspired.
Hey
Yeah,
man,
yeah,
put it
right.
on a T-shirt, man. That'd be fire.
Right, but that was fun. That was like my first intro to the cannabis industry.
Wow.
And it was just weird because in New Jersey you can't smoke. You can't do weed and all that. They're not like that yet. Especially back then. So it was like telling people, were like, you work in the cannabis industry. Even like ad companies didn't really understand what we were doing, because we would get advertisers that drop off, or we would get you can't have a bank and so on, but we weren't selling marijuana, we weren't selling cannabis, we were just telling you about regulations and like the legal side of it and that kind of stuff.
It was education based.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yo.
But different companies were like, no, we can't deal with you. Like they shut our bank down, our accounts and all that. We had like 3 accounts, they shut them down, so we had to get out of that for the time being.
A fear of the unknown, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Old habits die hard, so people are used to stuff working a certain way, and kind of staying away from certain things. They're gonna be like, no, I don't want that new stuff. I'm just gonna stick with my lane, and that's
Till
it.
the masses start
Yeah, catching on.
knocking on
Yeah.
that door like, hey, man, we got a
Yeah.
need right here. We need to
Yeah.
satisfy this need.
Yeah.
Well, until somebody figures out a way around it, though, too. Like,
Yeah.
you know, because people will do that. That's
Yeah.
probably, and I don't want to assume, but that's probably how you figured out. Like, hey, there's a need, there's a niche here. Let's figure out the next step.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So,
kick this door open.
yeah, the people who have experienced the most success didn't know what the next step was.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're just like learning through the
Just
process.
going, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Lazy.
me, I'm still learning. Like
Literally.
for one, going from working jobs for years to being an owner and a CEO is a process because like, you know, it's still
Word.
stuff that you still used to. Like you get used to Fridays and Saturdays off. You know, everybody's like, yeah, it's Friday, man. It's Saturday. But then when you're an owner, like there is no Friday and Saturday. There's, you know, it's every day is what you
Or
want.
hours.
Yeah, hours. You know, I'm off at 5. Like I'm never off, and which is not bad. It's good because I like what I'm doing. But like, I never consider myself off. Like when I visit home and they're like, hey, what day you gotta be back to work? I'm like, nah, you know, like I'm at work now with the phone, like, and they're still not understanding that, you know. It's a process to go from an employee. I still have a lot of traits in me that are employee based that I'm like gradually getting rid of. That I see in myself, and I'm like, damn, that's crazy. You were so like. You know, that was so embedded in you, yeah. Programmed that like this, you can't get it out of you know. So it's a process.
Man. Would you say though? Would you say that that's important, especially when you're first starting your entrepreneurial journey, to kind of have that like basically being coachable, right? So in entrepreneurship, we call it coachability, right? Following leadership, mentorship. In the workforce, it's having direction from a manager or a higher up, right? But most people, I think, fall in love with the idea of, well, I'm going to be my own boss. I'm going to do my own thing. And if you don't have the discipline of a good employee, you're never going to be a great entrepreneur. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, that's discipline is definitely necessary, especially when you don't there's nobody above you telling you got to do this and that. Luckily, my partner, who's also like one of my mentors, and you know, I learned a lot of game from built a lot of relationships from him. So I was able to watch him and see things that go on to kind of adapt for myself. And you know, certain interactions with us would tell me things about myself that I didn't realize, like that I was still in the employee mindset kind of when it came to certain things. Or just I wasn't as confident with something because I might not know all the information, and I'm more lively like when I know the information about what I'm talking about, not just like when I'm either reading a script or you know I got certain guidelines or things like that. But when I actually know the information, that's when it's like I can pick up pretty quickly. Yeah.
That's a nugget there, man. Sharpen your axe constantly, right? Like work on your craft and be professional at whatever that is. Because it breeds confidence. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, so it's sharpen the axe because that, like you said, breeds confidence. Having somebody around you that can check you when you need some checking. You know what I'm saying? Like having somebody around you that can give you that guidance, or that you can see at least at a bare minimum be able to see their example of how they move and how they operate with other people. Because man, being directionless, you know, especially when you're on your own mission, especially as an entrepreneur, and not having mentorship and guidance, man, it's a lonely fight out there, man, and it's tough. You're gonna you hit a lot of pitfalls that you probably shouldn't, that you would have avoided, you know. And having a mentor allows you to get some wisdom so that you don't have to hit those roadblocks and those bumps in the road, man.
And I've always been a person that learns from, like, I can sit back. I'm always the quiet one in the room, observing. I don't talk much, but like my mind is always working. So being able to still be a student and keep that mentality at the same time as you're being a CEO and an owner is a crazy dynamic to play with in itself, you know. And I think the military is what really taught me how to humble myself and be able to listen to people, because in there, you know, you might be 21, your boss might be 19. You know what I'm saying? So, or you might be in for 5 years, your boss may be in for 2 years, or you might look at somebody that's over you and be like, man, I could beat him up. Like, why is he over me? You know what I'm saying? So you gotta humble yourself and really like be able to pick and choose what to take from people and how not to fall into certain traps and stuff like that.
Like mind traps, you're saying?
Yeah, mind traps, financial traps. You know what I'm saying? And like anything. It's a lot of things that are set up, or we think we're supposed to go a certain way because that's just how our parents went that way, and so you seen so and so go that way, but it may not necessarily be for you. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be able to like really determine that and be comfortable with it. Like, okay, I see 50 people are going this way, but I don't think I should go that way, even though they're looking at me crazy. I think I should go this way, and then you're going to take slack for it. People going to look at you crazy, but like right now, it's like even with my family, they're just starting to look at me like, oh snap, like you doing some, you know what I'm saying? After all of this time, like I would go home up until like probably last year, I would go home That's and crazy. All my family would be like, oh, so where you work at? And they wanted me to say I'm at Home Depot or I'm working at such and such, and they didn't understand. I'd be like, yeah, I don't work for nobody. And it just didn't register with them like that. Like they always thought like, damn, he don't do nothing. And I'm like, no, I just don't work for anybody. Like, that's it. And
I work for this.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the measure of success is crazy, right? Like how people measure success through, job or status, dude. It's bananas, right? And they don't understand vision. So, like, if you were able to explain your vision to them and where you were going, right, which is, I think, probably one of the most important things in entrepreneurship is understanding that vision and being able to articulate it. Maybe they might have got on, but oh yeah, dude, 100%. So, how much of you transitioning, you and the partner, Dave, right, transitioning from having a job to now this journey, like how much vision and thought process went into that?
Well, Dave has never had a job. Dave he started True at 17 in Philly, True Magazine, and he gave Kanye his first cover. And he's worked with a bunch of different like legendary people way before I came on board. But I mean it's something that you have to get used to. Like you have to be comfortable with it. Like I said, there's things that we don't even know about ourselves that we're programmed to do, and we think we're supposed to do something like this, but it's really it may not necessarily be the best way. And I think
the Matrix, bro.
Yeah, I think for me it came from like all of my like, aunts and exactly. I think like because all of my aunts and my elders were like older and from that generation where it's just like, no, you listen and do this, and we didn't have this opportunity, so we want you to do this. And I think I let go of that when I went into the Marines and just did something totally left. And that's what really made me figure out like, okay, you can take advice from people and hear what they have to say, and take from it what you need, but you still need your own path. And that's, once I moved out here and I met him within that first couple months, I was like, all right, well, this is obviously going somewhere that I couldn't have predicted from home. I couldn't have told anybody that this was going to happen. So let's just follow what we think is right instead of like what people want.
And it's also taking advice from the people that you want your life to look like.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people get it, like a lot of people get relationship advice from people that are terrible at relationships. They, they done been through this one, that one. They have experience.
Yeah.
But it may not be. They have experience, but maybe
of what not
successful experience, right? Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, taking advice from the people that you want your life to look like in some respects. Like, all right, so if you want to take business advice, it's like, hey, how do I take business advice from people that run successful businesses?
Yeah.
Right? I'm taking family and relationship advice from people that I see have a great relationship, that at least seems like they have a really great relationship with their kids, have a great relationship with their spouse, have a great, and people like that, that's what I would think we would do, but a lot of folks don't because their circles aren't necessarily expanded.
Exactly.
Like they don't go outside of their usual maybe 5-6 people that they're just around all the time, and that's what
stay in your comfort.
It's the people staying in the comfort zone, and that first step of we out of here in 10 days. First step of first step of comfort zone obliterated. Comfort zone gone.
No comfort. Yeah, there's none.
Gone. We're in a place we've never on the whole 3,000 miles away. We've never been.
Yeah.
Right. Doing something we've probably never doing. Now you're getting into an industry. You're working in the magazine. Boom, and then you have a streaming service.
Yeah.
So now taking it from there. Now what got so now not even the service, the network, right? So developing it. So what goes into like the mind frame to actually developing a network, man? Like what does that take?
Well, that's kind of worked the same way. Where it's like once we just started moving towards it, it started happening. Like I'm a LinkedIn nut. I'm always on LinkedIn. Like if I see a commercial or it's on TV, or if I see an article or something, I'm looking up the names in there. I'm going to find them and I'm reaching out to them directly. And if I don't get them, I'm reaching out to the 4 people under them. And if I don't get them, I'm reaching out to an intern that used to work for the company because I know they about to give me the scoop or something. You know what I'm saying? So it's just
outside
about
the box,
like
man. Love it.
Your direction and like, just your direction, your passion, and following what your mind is, telling you and putting there in front of you.
So especially developing a team, man, because I'm sure it's tough to run a whole business like that with just a couple of folks, man. So how important was it to kind of put the right people in place and looking for those folks?
We're still doing that now. Like for years, it's just been me and Dave and Angie, who's our senior coordinator. She's like a blessing. She's been with us since before we started Vyre. When we had the office in North Hollywood, she started out as an intern, and she's really been a key piece in what we're doing. But right now we're getting to the point where we're bringing in outside people to help with certain things because we realize it's too much for 2-3 people to be running. Like we got 14 channels, we have sports leagues, we have movies, we have a slate of projects that we want to produce ourselves. We got concerts. It's so much that it's like we're at a point where it's like, all right, you got to bring on people that know what they're doing and are experts in that, so that you can kind of pull yourself out of it a little or a lot of it, really. And then passionate people, like they have to be passionate about what they're doing, what we're all doing. There has to be some sort of camaraderie, like some sort of like, okay, I like being around these people. It's not just I'm working with them and that's it. Like, it's got to be people that you actually like to converse with, that you would, take advice from, and also be comfortable with saying no and giving them advice and so on. So,
environment.
That's what we're doing.
Building that environment
exactly.
And a culture, right? Yep. Building an environment, a culture. Because I was looking on. I was like, I got the app down on my phone, man. I was checking. I was like, man, they got a women's football league on there.
Oh yeah, bro. Man, that's going. Our.
Is it the lingerie league?
No, that's the first question I was gonna go. That's probably one of the biggest projects and one of the most I'm excited about.
Let's talk about
it's the biggest women's football league in the world, pretty much. So it's 20 teams, all throughout the nation. The CEO OJ, she's like awesome. Like she's like so motivated. She's from Watts, and she was the first running back coach for the Atlanta Falcons. She's an Olympian. She's got all these accolades, and she's just character wise, she's just a really great, motivated person. Like I'm always seeing articles about her. She's on the Breakfast Club. She's doing this. She's doing that. And that started from a DM, like me scrolling through and be like, what's this? Like, and I DM'd him, and, we had a contract 3 months later, 2 months later.
Talk to people, y'all. Just
the network.
Shoot your shot. You know what I'm saying? Shoot your shot, man. Dang, closed mouth don't get fed. That's great.
And we just did the Super Bowl weekend in Dallas like 2 weeks ago, where it was like literally like, it had the Pro Bowl, we had conference, meetings and conference centers with the executives of the league and with other players, a bunch of players there that came from out of town, and they're all doing it for the love. Like, everybody is motivated, everybody knows what mission we're on. Like, they know that this is a league that can go somewhere. We just need somebody to believe in us. So going to that event and then just being around the players, being around the staff and stuff is really motivating. So now they're they're almost up to 1 million streams. They've been streamed in like Denmark and Australia, Italy, Germany, bunch of different countries that would have never seen this content or never like been open to it.
Wow.
And they're really expanding. Like, next year we're looking at streaming all of the games, or at least two a week. But we're looking at all the games though.
Wow, that's cool, man. Shoot,
Yeah.
dang, that's crazy. Yeah, I was like, they
go hard.
Like,
they go hard.
I was
It's
like,
not
it's
even
business
like
low key. It's low key business, man, because they be hitting. Wow, I was like,
oh,
surprise.
Yeah, like when you can't really tell that. I'm not to say you can't tell it's women, but you can't tell that it's women. Like, when you watch their play, you're like, oh, this is football. Like, the only thing different from the NFL is the uniform and helmet they have on, the colors of the teams and stuff like that. But other than that, they're playing football, real, and they're going hard. They love to do it. It's not like no ego in it. It's no like, oh, you threw her too many passes, or it's no drama and all that. It's people that just love to play football and know what position they're in for the league, with the league.
That's cool, man. So you said it's in all different across the country. So is it like in California? I mean, I'm assuming it's in California.
Yeah,
too.
we got it. There's a San Diego team and an LA team out here. There's no New York team yet.
Get it together, New York.
New Mexico, Atlanta, Denver, Utah. They're everywhere.
Oh, it's starting to get some traction.
Yeah,
man.
they're everywhere.
Yo, that's cool. What's it called? It's called the
WNFC.
WNFC, man.
Yeah, WNFC football on Instagram.
Yo, that's cool.
And yeah, it's I swear I don't even have never showed my daughter the NFL because I want to show her the WNFC first, and I want her to be like, damn, boys play football too. Like, when she sees the NFL, like, damn, I never knew that. And it's real cool. It's real cool.
That's fire, man.
That is dope.
That's sick, man. And just the development, man, like the different channels and stuff like that, and the expansion of it. So where do you kind of see it? So where do you kind of see the streaming network next? What's next?
I'm trying to take over the world, man. Like, really, like literally, we got a couple different goals, which one of them is to be able to offer global distribution to indie content creators, filmmakers, and so on. There's a lot of people out there that have movies or TV shows or whatever just sitting in a drive because they don't have the relationships to get to a Netflix or a Hulu or this and that. So they just like got talent and quality products sitting there with nothing to do. So it's like, and then now that everybody has, like, before, back in the day, not everybody had access to cameras and this and that equipment and stuff like that. So it's just like you rely on them to do it, somebody else. But now everybody can get a camera. Everybody can write a screenplay and put something out there. So there's much more accessible work out there, but not an accessible platform. For them to be on. So that was one of the things that we started off with as a goal, was being accessible and finding that content that people are overlooking. And then also as far as the creativity and the influence of our culture, the things that we put out there, like the older ways of propaganda, censorship from big time news outlets and content channels and stuff like that. Like, we don't have any of those barriers. So we were like, all right, we gotta break that mold of, oh, we can't put this out, or oh, we can't put this out, and so on. Like, even with you're used to a show being 30 minutes, Like we don't even we don't follow that. Like it's either 7 minutes and above for all our episodes, and it doesn't have to be like a 30-minute show or an hour show. Like how people standardize it, it can be whatever it is because it's on demand. It's not like in 30 minutes this other show has to come on, so you gotta put your stuff in this time frame because you don't want to
fit within this.
Yeah,
box.
it's not linear, so it's like people can really just do what they want.
Yo, that's interesting, man. It's just breaking that mold, man. It's
Yeah.
it's
Well, I
really
love that
stepping out.
idea. Yeah, man. And I think a lot of people now are going more towards streaming. I'll tell you why. Because, man, I just didn't like the satellite company, dude. Like it seemed like every month, and it wasn't every month. It was probably annually, but it seemed like it was constantly going up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, one day, man, I called them. I won't say the name, but I called them and asked. I said, hey, like, this has just gone up again. And I just got a pamphlet in the mail saying that all new customers are getting this entry level price. So can you guys give me that price? You're like, no, you're an existing customer, right? Yeah. And I was like, well, something's got to give, man. I said, why am I paying this much? She's like, well, you have this package and you have, and I said, well, I don't need that package. I watch 16 out of the 430 something channels you guys are telling me. They said, yeah, but the 16 channels you watch are on different packages, right? And so I'm like, was there a way? I asked them, is there a way that you can just charge me per channel? And they said, unfortunately, sir, that's not how it works. I said, okay, well, just cancel the contract then. And they said, well, you're under contract for 2 more months. I said, I'll call you back in 2 months. Call them back in 2 months. Canceled it. Here. And they called me the next day like, hey, we'd love to have you back and this and that. And, and all this stuff. And I was like, nah, I'm out, man. We got a fire stick. We jailbroke that thing. But I don't know if that's something you want to hear.
No, it's all good.
But that's what we did, and man, we stream everything.
My last job. The last job I had was with DirecTV, doing exactly what you're talking about.
So you know what I'm talking about.
Cutting people's service off. Then they call back the next day. Yo, I got all these offers for you, man. We can get you down to $49.99. I know your bill was $300, but we can give you the same, like, do it. And I'm like, wait,
like this is a game.
Yeah. So and then you figure out, like, with the script that we had to say, there was certain things that we had to put in place. It'll be $99 up for 3 months. But they don't tell you after that 3 months it's going up another 60 because you still got and then after that it's going up another 100 on the next year because that you only got the deal for the first year. And it was like, yo, this is too much. Like bills $200-300. They forcing you to get a house phone. Nobody want no house phone. Like they force you to get a house phone. Like why are you doing that to people? Yeah. And then
to me it's crazy because you just used to pay for electricity, man. We had the little 13 channel TV, click,
exactly,
bro, and then you watch what you wanted to watch, or whatever was on, I guess. But
like I remember when cable came out, and it was like, oh, you got cable, like. Okay, like cable was the new thing. Like,
hey man, I'd be ordering them videos from the box. I was constantly calling my mom, like, "Hey mom, can I order?" Yeah, and then she's like, "What is this rump shaker?" Yeah, Rex in effect. Right. You know what I mean? Hey,
right,
my money.
Man,
on the box.
Y'all young,
but I love that idea of streaming because again, I think that's what most where it's headed, right?
It's convenience.
Yeah, every and. Within the time that we started,
too, you can kind of control what you're going to spend.
Yeah, because within this time of us building out or starting Vyre, so many different channels have switched over to streaming. There was no Peacock, there was no CBS. All these there was only Hulu and Netflix, and I don't even think Amazon was out there yet when we started. Like only certain
Apple's now on the platform. Right?
Apple has their own. Like there's so many now. When we started. There was maybe 3, and this is like when we initially started. Like nobody was changing and streaming. I would still get, come on back to DirecTV. We got, we have this and we have that, and I'm like, we good, bro. Like we straight now.
Shoot, now they trying to get rid of that. Like they're not trying to have satellites. They trying to go right through the internet, bro. Like they're not trying to have people do that no more, man, because they realize.
Well, they're losing business. They
have to get down or lay down, Yeah,
it has to be a dying industry in that sense.
Yeah,
right?
The only thing that really keeps them going is live sports. And Fox,
Stream East,
all NFL games and watching that because they're on linear TV. But once they like, I'm trying to get the big 3 right now on our platform. And we're trying to get, those leagues that's like they're not the NFL and NBA, those bigger leagues, but there's something that needs to be out there and that people want to look. There's an audience, and we can do that now.
Maybe even like the world championships to certain stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, wouldn't that? Because that's not even like nobody sees that on TV. You know,
bro. Yeah, like half the people that watch the Super Bowl don't watch weekly games.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. Like the number of eyes on the Super Bowl are twice as much, I think, as what they watch regular week to week.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that's just because it's an event.
Right, exactly.
Like it's go eat with your friends, hang out, drink, get out the house. Yeah, that's more what it is than people only pay attention during touchdowns, and you know what I'm saying? That's really the only time. You're like, oh, okay, like rewind that. You know?
That's why the red zone idea was so popular when they did that, right? Like as soon as they got in the red zone, bro, like it would give you an alert and you can switch.
Yeah,
that's
I remember
wild.
That. Yeah, I remember
because people just want to see scores.
I used to sell that too. Definitely used to
people
sell that.
just want to see the scores.
Yeah,
that's man. That's why YouTube, man, they break the games into like 5 minutes. That's it. 5 minutes. All I got to see, or you can even get it down to just the players. What a particular player scored,
doing, and
you
follow
know what
them.
I'm saying, and that's it. Like it's, it's crazy because I don't know. I was thinking I was listening to something, and it was I think it was it an OnlyFans thing? I don't know how they're changing from going to explicit content to OnlyFans, to kind of just going to something else. But somebody was talking about the idea of players can have like individual accounts and just take you to the dugout. Yeah. You can see, fans can see what's actually going on the bench. Yeah. People can see what the conversations is like or what's popping up on there, man, and just see what's going on.
And you can subscribe to that, and that player is getting all that bread. Like,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's just different, man. Like, things are changed. Things are literally good. One thing that I really picked up is, with the magazine, I'm going to take it back to that just for a sec. You guys are like, look, ain't nobody flipping these pages and reading this stuff no more, man. We need to get out of this. And like you say, you guys are a little bit early. So that's the thing, is figuring out that timing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And knowing when to toe dip and when to dive all the way in. Because sometimes you can't be too early and you miss the big wave.
Yeah. I think we were too early with that. I think we were definitely too early with switching over. Even though we knew where it was going, our fan base didn't convert like we wanted it to, because everything was social media and World Star and everything was going that way, and not like, oh, I gotta pick up this magazine in an office, like
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's interesting, man. So just knowing when to really, like, businesses, it's definitely ebbs and flows thing, but knowing when to really dive in, man, like you almost can't totally predict it, but we know but you kind of know what's going on now.
Well, you follow the consumer, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what it's about, is following. Gary Vee talks about that a lot, is you follow the consumer. You want to know what to do? Look at what people are doing.
And ask them.
It'll tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, he always talks about paying attention to the comments and listening to what people are saying, and that's how you figure out where to go. Like, that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, because shoot, man, because very rarely, I don't know, probably, but most people, I don't think, before people used to get around the TV and watch a show. Now it's like, I could check out 5 minutes of my show on my lunch break, or 20 minutes on my lunch break. I get to the, I'm at the car wash. I'm watching the next part of the show. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So just streaming, convenience, fitting it in, because we have so much coming at us now with with basically these computers in our hand, and all the time commercials and stuff like that, and kind of building it up, because especially on the on your network too, I was looking at it, I was like, well, shoot, like, man, they have all these shows and there's all these like indie movies and stuff. It was just so interesting. And I seen when it was like Cracker or something like that, I was like, wait, what?
Man,
I was like, whoa, what's this?
You gotta watch that, man. That's the behind WNFC. That's probably one of the biggest projects that we're excited about too. To turn that into a series. So that's Cracker is reverse racism, basically. So it's, what if white folks were slaves and black people were the owners back in slavery days? And it's no holds barred. There's no censorship. That shit is crazy, like crazy. Even when I watch it now, even when I watch the trailer, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, what are we doing? But
We're about to
I
get
love
sued.
it though. Yeah, but I love it though, man. That the creator and producer, Dale, director, he's awesome. He's legendary in music. He's done more music videos than anybody, period, out there. He's done over like 700 music videos. So he did, he works with everybody out, every name I can't even see, Guns N' Roses to Soulja Boy to whoever. Like he knows them all, and he's worked with them in some capacity. And he's a white dude. So
he's the one that put the movie.
He created this Project Cracker. And I'm telling you, like, if you talk to him about it and you see his passion, you like, yo, this dude is real. Like he's a real deal. We just brought him on as an advisor, as a content advisor for Vyre, but he is like the real deal.
Yo, that's crazy.
Like anything that's eye-opening and thought-provoking right now, dude, is where it's at. Because, I mean, I feel like people want something that is, what's the word I'm looking for? Like substance, controversial.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Controversial.
People just gravitate towards it.
That shock value, man.
Yeah.
Dang, off the top. You say
it's been happening for a long time,
exactly
bro. Like I got hooked on bum fights. Do you remember?
Yeah, me too. I was on that too.
Like, man, I was searching the internet for bum fights.
Yeah.
Dude.
I remember that.
Oh my
And people are like, this is so wrong and controversial. I'm like, that shit's entertaining.
And even what was there was bum fights, that was the DVD, and then what were the girls going wild and all that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like, that was a whole nother movement. That was like
Snoop
turned
on
into
that.
a whole thing.
Yeah.
Snoop cashed in on that.
Yeah. And that was like, it was outside of the norm, the stuff you could see on TV, you know, but everybody wanted it. Like,
Yeah, man, it's just blazing new trails, bro.
Yeah.
It's, like you said, it has a shock value, has an entertainment. At the end of the day, entertainment value.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which is especially like the women's football league, it's the entertainment value. Thank Cracker just to have the title of the thing,
crazy.
off the top. You know what I'm saying? Kind of right.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's catchy.
You know what I mean? It's crazy, man. But just blazing new trails, man, and setting being an example.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like being an example of what's possible. And shoot, man. It's like, why not?
Yeah. Well, what is the vision? Exactly. What is the vision for Vyre? I mean, you mentioned take over the world, but what does that look like? And what's the reason that you want to do that? If there is one.
That's kind of a hard question. Only because, like, all right, one of our visions is to take back the control and our influence that we have on media. It's like we're always the creators, we're the football players, we're in the movies and all that, but we don't own and we can't dictate certain trends and certain things. Like I watched this video of Crazy Bone when he was talking about the industry, the music industry, and their the plan to take down the music industry and just minorities in general through the music industry. And he's reading a letter that's from some guy who was in one of these secret meetings that the labels had back in the 90s, and it was pretty much at that turning point where music went from being positive or being anti-government, the fuck the police. I don't know if I can say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you said it.
I know, right?
Can I grab it back? You good?
So, like, it was going for, back in one time in music, there was the Public Enemies, there was the Queen Latifahs, there was the, positive, conscious stuff. And then music kind of took a shift from that to the more demeaning and negativity filled and that kind of stuff. And he was talking about the actual meeting that this person was in, and they pretty much got kicked out of the meeting because they weren't going to comply with what's going on. And during this meeting, it was like, okay, look, it was label heads there, and they were like, okay, we own these labels, but we also own stock in private prison systems. So the easiest way to get Black people into the prison systems is by promoting music that's detrimental and that sends them to jail. So we promote guns and violence and stuff like that. And there was a plot. There was meetings set up to do this, for this to happen. So there's people on labels and all that that are in on this. And then see, that's when music started to go to, all shoot 'em
what
up,
they were
shoot 'em up, kill
glorifying.
'em.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm
The
saying?
stuff
And that's
they were
when music
glorifying.
all went to there. And if you think about it, like, I don't want to say anything bad about these movies and stuff, but that's when the Boys in the Hoods came out, and the Menaces and all those movies that were like that, which we love, like, culture wise, but it was still kind of negative. Like, how many people was trying to be Doughboy or trying to be, you know what I'm saying, Nino Brown or something like that, you know what I'm saying? And that's why all of these movies were put out to sway people into being like this, whether it's movies or whether it's music. It's the same thing. So all the artists that I like now, even though they're like, a part of that in some way, whether it's most likely it's unwillingly and unknowingly, they were really a part of how the violence and the stuff that we see now. Like within, I think I forgot what year, but if you've seen the documentary 13th, the prison system went up from this time that this stuff started happening in the music industry. The number of inmates rose, it like tripled within this time. So in this interview with
there's an
Crazy
economic
Bone,
benefit to it, right?
Because
like
they
free
own
labor.
the labels. They own the labels own the prison system. So it's like one way or another, I'm getting money off you. You know what I'm saying?
But it also feeds the economy, man, because it's a lot of what people don't realize is in the prison system. There's a lot of goods that are sold that are created there, right? Like everybody knows license plates, but there's a lot more stuff that gets created there.
Yeah.
And what do they pay? Like 14 cents a day.
Yeah, something.
It's like modern day slavery.
It's slavery, literally. It's literally slavery.
So it's money that feeds, and it's crazy, and it's only a conspiracy until it's not, right? Like, and so people are starting to know this, but it's sad the way that it was fed, because the old school stuff, like you had mentioned, the NWAs and the Public Enemies. Yeah, it was kind of anti-establishment, but what it also was I think it was thought-provoking.
Yeah,
like, man, we can do something about this, and it would probably promote more entrepreneurship and like getting after it and doing the right things and stuff like that, to where it pivoted now. And I honestly, man, I don't like a lot of the music now because it's just garbage. To me. I'm like,
exactly.
what are you talking about, dude? Like,
and then when you realize that these companies, they own the magazines that we look at to validate artists and validate people. They own the radio stations, so they can put whatever artist they want on a radio station. And there it's a cycle of them owning everything and saying, you know what, this is gonna hurt those people. Let's put this out. Let's promote this. You know, and it's like we don't have to do that anymore because nobody listens to radio. So you can't control radio. People listen to podcasts, Spotify, Nobody really listens to radio, so you can't plug me with these same 10 songs. Nobody picks up magazines, so the magazines that they own are irrelevant. Now it's Shade Room, it's World Star, it's this and it's independent people that's covering, that's maintaining the news. Like even the news reports on social media. And you'll see them talking about, oh, well, so-and-so said this on Instagram today or Twitter. Somebody posted, and you posting, your whole story was on social media. And social media is always first. Like, it's instant when something happens. The news has to verify this. They got to send a reporter out. They got to do all this stuff that stops for people from getting the information as quick as they should.
And there's a slant. And it's slanted.
Exactly.
At that point,
they might not say what's real.
Well, Denzel said it best, man. Denzel said, hey, if you pick up the newspaper and you read it, you're misinformed. But if you don't, you're uninformed. And so there's a responsibility there, and it's crazy how they can control the thought processes of people. Man, I feel like that's why they try to make Kanye look like he was losing his mind. And no, he wasn't, man. He was just spitting game. If you really go back to listen to some of that stuff, he was spot on with a lot of those things and what his attempts were. And he came out of it, right?
Jackson too. Yep. Yeah. They try to make you look crazy.
Yep.
They created this word conspiracy theory to scare people from thinking and dissecting things that's going on. Because now you don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but
like it's a bad thing. No, you got to ask questions.
Free thoughts,
exactly.
man. It's like, man, thoughts, free thinking, man. Like, man, like what?
Well, do your
it's
research,
weird,
man, and develop your own opinion, right?
Yeah.
Like, and so now with that whole, you're spot on. Is they control your thought process or lack thereof.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
tell you what to think. They tell you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you watch a lot of those messages, man, it's just they're predetermining how you're going to feel, think about it, and what you're going to accept.
Oh yeah.
I
Propaganda,
started reading about a guy named Edward Bernays, who is, to me, he's probably the most influential person in the world. Period. Like he, just some examples. Like he made, toothpaste and brushing your teeth 2 times a day famous. He made brand or logos, attaching logos to your business. Things like breakfast and why bacon and eggs are
It's associated
and
with
pancakes are associated with breakfast. A bunch of different things. He's actually the nephew of Sigmund Freud, and he's the one that put Sigmund Freud's information out there so that people can know Sigmund Freud. Like nobody knew him or who he was, but this guy Edward Bernays took all of his teachings and he put them out there. He wrote books, he did films and stuff like that so that people could see it, and that's how people know Sigmund Freud now over the other philosophers and stuff that were back then. But he pretty much is the creator of propaganda, and he did it with the Nazis to clean up the Nazis once all of that stuff stopped over there, and then once he came to America, he changed the word propaganda into public relations. So it's really just the same thing, like controlling people's mind, like you were saying,
Wordplay,
giving them certain options and stuff like that. So you think you're choosing something, but really you're not. You're just choosing from the options that you have. And studying him, like I've read about him in so much stuff on him. It put my mind in a perspective of, damn, you can really like shift people's opinions and shift how people view you and view companies and based on these certain factors and certain things that they talk about. So that's really
that's interesting.
Somebody that I studied that's really motivating what we're doing.
But yeah, man, you control the mind, bro, like through propaganda, right?
Oh, yeah.
My cousin was also in the military, and he was telling me, like, in the middle of the wars over there, the military would drop leaflets from like planes flying over, and it would be a picture of like a soldier with a Afghan or an Iraqi woman, and said, while you're out here fighting for Saddam or whatever, we're with your ladies. And they just play mind games. And dude, you can control people through that, dude. And that's what people don't realize. So I love your mission is to, kind of take back some of that control and give people the options to determine what, where they want to go.
Yeah. I look at us like how the mixtape game took over record labels. Record labels were, that the top at one point. And then once the mixtape game came in, it was like everybody could do their own thing and you could put out your own music. And, they built up an industry that was so big that that labels had to call cops on DJ Drama. And that's what shut down the mixtape game pretty much, was them saying, wait, they're getting too big over there. Too many people are respecting them. We got to shut this down. And that's pretty much how we
taking money out of their pockets.
Yeah,
exactly. Disrupting it, almost like, I think Soulja Boy almost had a similar thing, like when you put music like on LimeWire or whatever, had it up under different names, and he was putting his song up under there. Yeah. And then he just got it so big to where when he did have a label meeting, it was like, I'm dictating the terms.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not the other way around. It's like, look, we just need you to distribute this.
Yeah.
We don't need you for nothing else. We already got all this taken care of.
Yeah.
We just need you for distribution. So it's like, or would like to have you a part of this as distribution. You know what I'm saying? So,
that's something else I also heard. Not my bad, I cut you off.
No, you get.
That's something else I also heard, was that, I forgot where I heard it, but distribution is how you control, because you at some point before, all of these outlets were available, when you create something, you have to go to somebody else to get it approved. And if they don't approve it, then you just work for nothing. So if you don't have distribution, you can't control much, because there's always going to be somebody you're taking it to, and you're going to be up under their agenda,
seeking approval.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That was a big thing with our company too. Was that
controlling the distribution? You guys are controlling your distribution, controlling how it gets out to people, controlling because otherwise somebody else will.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And you're at the will of somebody else's plan.
Yeah.
Yo, that's crazy. I didn't even think about it.
And it gives people opportunity to get their stuff out, right? Like that untapped talent. Dude, there's so many talented people. You probably know this more than I do, but like that guy with that show Cracker, that would never get out on on mainstream TV.
Oh, Fox ain't having that on.
He's already told us, like, man, I took this to so many people and they were scared. Like, you know, and I'm like, I mean, I get it. They don't want the backlash, but we not scared. Like, there's nobody about to say, like, ain't nobody about to come up to us and say nothing, you know? Like,
right.
And that's big. That's big for people to be comfortable about what they're creating and not feel like, oh, well, they might not put it out because it's this or it's that and da da da. Like, we're not worried about all that. Like, if you create. And, you know, sometimes creators aren't the best businessmen. They may not know how to get an agent and shop your stuff around and do meetings and all that, but they know how to create their craft, you know, and they may not want to jump through all those hoops. So if you take that out, it's like anybody can put out their stuff.
And it's so limiting too, dude. Like, can you think about how hard it is to revamp your message and put it in a box because somebody says, no, we don't like this. You got to do this. You got to put this person there versus, man, just letting them be creative and do you and stuff and let people pick and choose, man. I love that. I think that's the way it should be.
That's sick, man. You guys having like a system for people to, you know, to get their stuff out, man. So that, you know, they get, that's sick. You got to give them the free will, man, and let them just go at it.
Yeah, exactly.
Know? And, you know, that's the next y'all ahead of the curve by now, man. I'm liking this, man.
Yeah, and then it's a lot of people that come to us when they have a deal, you know, in the air with another company, another big company, and they're like, yeah, they're not gonna let us do this, and they're not gonna let us do that, and they only gonna give us this amount, and they want to own it, and we just not with that, you know. So like Boosie, we just, you know, you just seen the Boosie interview. That was his thing. He was you know, they were trying to own his biopic, and he's like, nah, like you're not gonna just own my shit, like, you know. And we just happened to hook up with him through Dale, and now we're about to put his project out. Like, no censorship. It's just straight what he created is going out, you know.
That's sick, man. That's sick, man. Giving people like, hey, look, come over here. Come to Vyre, man. Come to Vyre. Get your stuff put out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Come to Vyre, get your stuff put out, man. And it's what you want to put out. You know? And it's what you want to put on.
Well, it's like a platform for CEOs or artistic creators, right? Like ultimately, at least that's my take on it, because they can ultimately be their CEO of their own thought, their own idea, their own project, and have say in what direction it's going to go.
They put out, and we don't try to own anybody's content. They keep ownership. We always let the creator keep majority percentage of everything, because, like, you know, we want to create another workforce where it's like I can make movies and get paid for it, like, and really sustain a life, or, you know, it can pay some bills and I can really do something with it versus, like, you know, just sitting there, or somebody giving you a $5,000-$10,000 check and being like, all right, now we own it. Like, you can't do nothing else with it. That happened to me too. Well, not me directly, but a movie that I worked on before I came out here. A movie called The City Is Mine. We did in like 2006, 2007. And that was kind of one of the motivating things that what made me move out of there, because of where I was, because it was so much of a ceiling. We couldn't do anything with the movie. But my guy, who's the director, you know, he signed a deal that really wasn't beneficial to him, just so he can get it in. At the time, it was Redbox, and I think Netflix was doing the mail thing at the time. So he just wanted to get it out there, and he signed with a distribution company who took all of his rights, and they gave him this contract that was like, yeah, you can't make any money off it till we make da 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 da, and it was an indie film. It's not gonna make, like, they know it's not gonna make that much money, you know. But at the time,
so whatever did get made, they kept.
Yeah, they kept it, and he didn't know.
That's that new edition. That's that new edition. That's that new edition deal.
But in a twist of irony, we have that project on a platform now. And I gave him the
Wow.
I gave him the ownership of it back.
100% right. Yeah,
So
that's
now
fire,
he gets paid
man.
off of it now. Like he hit me like, yeah, I just got a check from Vyre, bro. I'm like, oh, word, okay. And this was something that
You knew that was
we
coming.
created. Like, yeah, we created years ago, and he got it taken from this one, signed with his distribution company, and we happened to come along to the, come meet that company. And as soon as I seen that project, I was like, let's go. We getting that. I'm about to get this to my boy so he can eat off that. Like, and that was like big.
Ain't nothing
oh
like getting
God.
your people paid. Dog.
That
Ain't
is dope.
nothing like getting your people's paid,
That's
man.
dope, man.
Nothing like that, man. That's fire, dude.
I need some friends like Lamar.
Your friends paid, man. That's fire, man. Like, and just, man, that's sick, bro. I don't know, man. Being a blessing to other people, man. Especially when you can make a change. You seen it. It was like, oh, man, that's my boy. Man, let's go.
Doing that.
We doing that.
Yeah,
that's fire, man. I love it, man.
Yeah.
But
And I helped create the movie and everything. I remember it's crazy because we did The City Is Mine in like 2007 or something. Then we did another movie called Sucker for Love, and it's with Spank Horton, who is Kevin Hart's boys on the Plastic Cup Boys and all that. And we did his first movie, and I was like, literally, I remember writing the characters out during my lunch period when I was working at some law firm downtown and stuff like that. And I was like doing it on my lunch type of thing. And once I came across that film on this platform, I was like, damn, like we got to get this. Like I done worked on this. I never seen I didn't even see it get shot. Like, and just to come across that and be like, damn, I could give this back to my boy so he can get paid for this now. Like that was like crazy. I remember he texted me like, bro, I just got to check, said Vyre on it. It's for da-da-da-da. And I'm like, damn, that is crazy. I would have never thought that we would end up in that position where we were giving him back ownership of this movie that he got stuck on pretty much. So that was like an eye opener that what we're doing is next level. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that's cool, man. Taking it to the next phase, man. Shoot.
And balancing the books, man, for people that, you know what I mean, got cut out or done wrong.
Yeah, man, it's it's a must right now, man, a Blazer Trail. It's a must right now to get out in front and be that example, no matter what fear is out there, no matter what. If you got some butterflies, it's probably the right thing to do. You know what I'm saying?
Really.
And why not now, man? There's so much opportunity out here, man. It's so much opportunity out here right now, man. It's like, why not just, man, we have the best opportunity and it's right now.
Yeah.
It's the best time to be alive.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it is. It is.
That's a fact.
And I think we're getting to a point where people are, getting comfortable with not doing the norm. They're just starting to get comfortable with, I could do my own thing or follow my own ideas. If you're in that space mentally where you have those kind of thoughts, like people are being like, damn, I could do my own thing. I don't need to do it this way or that way. I can really do it my own way.
Yeah, well, you can monetize anything, man, and it's so easy to make money. I mean, if you really wanted, you could DoorDash for a couple hours a day and then go out and attack your dream for 12 hours. You know what I mean? And still sustain. And you might not eat as well initially, but short-term sacrifice for long-term gains if you're willing to take advantage of what's available.
Yeah, that's what I tell people. Always hit me up about moving out here and from wherever, and I'm like, bro, you could work tomorrow on DoorDash or Uber or whatever. Like you could start tomorrow. You don't have to wait for no job, applying for jobs for months and interviews and no, you can start tomorrow and make some bread by Friday. You know what I'm saying? If you really wanted to move out here, there's no real excuse, or move anywhere. There's no real excuse, because Uber is everywhere. Like DoorDash is everywhere. Uber Eats, they're everywhere. So you really have a job waiting for you that you could tap into regardless of where you want to move.
Yep.
Take the first leap, man. Take the first step, man. I'm excited about it, man.
Well, and I think swallow your pride too. I think sometimes pride gets in the way of people. You know what I mean? Like, well, I don't want to drive for Uber. I have a job at the doctor's office. Man, who the hell cares? Like,
I think that comes down to people wanting to satisfy the older people in their family.
Yep, absolutely.
Because you can't tell your grandma, I drive for. She'll be like, what? You drive for Uber? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they don't know that as a profession where you can make money and like do something for yourself. They just know, look, you go out there, you work for white folks, and that's it. Like, you know what I'm saying? You go,
Yo,
and that's the plan. And if you don't
Mm.
tell them like, no, I'm doing this, like I'm not going that way where I have to, because I worked, man, before I moved out here, I worked at a science lab in Princeton that was attached to Princeton University, and that's the job that transferred me out here. And everybody was like, "Well, why are you leaving? You working in Princeton, bro? Like you at a science lab, and I'm like, bro, I hate science. I
Like
feel
that was
I don't like
prestigious.
that.
Huh?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like that's what they wanted me to do.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute. So I've been here 3 years. Y'all want me to stay here for 17 more years, and I'm telling you, I'm unhappy. Like, it don't make any sense. Like, no. I'm not about to do that.
Yo, people do it all the time.
Yeah,
man, you settle.
Yeah.
And that used to be, dude, it used to be maybe worth it, 40 years ago. And
Yeah.
You stay loyal to a job, whether you like it or not, but they'll take care of you for the rest of your life. A lot of times it was only 6 years outside of retirement
By the
or
time
whatever.
you're done,
But that's not even the case anymore, man. These jobs, you're so replaceable, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
I just seen this. I don't know if you. There's a show called Explained on Netflix,
I think I have seen it actually.
and one of the episodes is on like pension and all that stuff, and it's
Money
like,
explained.
Yeah, and it's showing you like you don't really live like you don't really get to live when you're trying to go that route. You maybe got 5-6 years of freedom after you retire or whatever, and then you're too old to do anything. You're too old to use your money, and then you're not even getting paid like you thought you were from this pension or 401k or whatever. You're not getting out of it what you thought you were going to get. You're going to get the bare minimum, and then it's like you don't. That's the only path that's set up. I think a lot of us, because we come from poverty, and our I'm not even saying ancestors, but our grandparents and all that weren't able to get jobs and all that, and so that's what they push on us. They weren't able to go to school back then, so that's what they push on us. Go to school, get a job, and because in their mind they weren't able to do it, so now that you are, that's what you're supposed to do. But we're in a different time where we can do so many other things besides that. Like, you don't need to go. I didn't go to school. I used community college so that I could test out different things and see what I wanted to focus on. You know what I'm saying? I didn't use it like, oh, let me get a degree and I'm going to take a couple courses that don't really matter because this is in the curriculum. I was like, no, I took acting, I took radio, I took video production, I took a bunch of industry related things. And this was like a year before I moved. I never even knew I was going to move, but I just took all these things and to help me find what I wanted to focus on. And like, I just was like, yo, I'm not going to get myself in debt for, a path that I can see doesn't even make no money. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can see this path don't even make no money. You about to be paying back loans and all this other stuff. And you're not really going to get no bread like that because you following the path. And it's like, you got to see that for what it is. Like,
well, I think the whole system is designed to make people employees. Right? It doesn't even matter like your background. I think that's just what it's designed to do, is to help people fall in line.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with education, but I literally, everything that I use today in my thought process and everything, I learned by the time I was in 5th grade.
Mm-hmm. It's proven that
maybe 6th grade.
You only need education up to 6th grade to make it. That's why middle school is in the middle, and then everything in high school is to kind of point you towards a career. But see, that's why like physical education turns into gym. You know what I'm saying? Language arts turns into English. Biology and all that turns into science and so on. So you really, everything after like 6th grade, middle school, you don't really need calculus and all that shit. Like, you need to learn how to count, like, regular basic math and all that, but you don't really need to know exponent.
Yeah.
I ain't never used an exponent in my life.
Everybody don't need to know that.
Nah, you don't.
I don't need to know what an isosceles triangle is.
Exactly. And they give us all this information that's useless. Yeah, I never use any of that, man.
Here's the crazy part, man. I can add, subtract, multiply, and divide. But you remember our teacher said we'll never always have a calculator?
They did.
Hey, check it out, bro.
Right? They did. No, they did. That was the big rebuttal they used to use. Like, you're not going to always have a calculator. Texas Instruments. Like,
shit, jokes on you.
Calculators, man.
Yeah.
Yo, that was wild, man. Yo, this was fire, man. Yeah, this is fire, man. We gotta have you back, man. This is cool,
definitely,
man. This is solid, man.
It.
And it's just getting the perspective, man. So for all the business owners out there, I'm sure a lot of y'all probably took some nuggets out of the day, man. Because I got a lot of nuggets.
Yeah,
today,
there was a lot to unpack.
You know what I mean? And,
sure.
and just to get out there to take a chance, man. At the end of the day,
Yeah,
take a freaking chance, bro. Rely on you. You can't bet on nobody else, man.
Yeah.
But guess what? I'm going all in on me.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Once you get
100%.
comfortable, that's when you're stagnant and you just like, all right, I'm going through this routine, but I purposely make it so that I'm uncomfortable all the time.
That's fire, man. Where can everybody download the Vyre Network app?
Anywhere, man. Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Android, iPhone. We're on the web also. We drop on smart TVs, Xbox, PlayStation within the next quarter. So anywhere you can download, worldwide. We're in just as many homes as Netflix. You know, if you want to download us anywhere.
So that's sick, man. That's fire, man. Go download some Vyre.
And Vyre is V like Victor, YRE.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, VYRE, man. That's sick, man. I'm excited about it, man. I'm excited to see it grow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And just see people that we know doing good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Close
maybe get the No
proximity.
Pressure, No Diamonds podcast.
Oh, man, hold up.
Shameless plug.
Let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it.
You know what
We
I'm
actually
saying?
got a business channel right now that we're about to put out within the next couple of months with a bunch of different, business related content. Let's talk about it.
Hey, for sure, man. That's what I'm talking about, man. I love that. I already like the sound of it on the business channel. Man, I can't wait, man. Shoot, man. I mean, any closing remarks, Thomas?
Man, I loved it. I appreciate the time and everything you shared, and I agree with you, man. There's a lot to unpack there. So for any of you up and coming entrepreneurs or people that are on the fence, so to speak, I would replay this and listen to Lamar and his path and some of those nuggets that he dropped. But man, I appreciate you coming out.
Man, thank y'all for having me, man, for being interested, checking out the platform.
Yeah.
Being excited about it. Like, thank y'all for real.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I'll definitely come back. Definitely.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man.
We'll have some apple juice for you next time.
Yeah, right.
Yo,
I'm gonna get Dave on it too. So.
Oh yeah, man, for sure, man. Shoot, that'll be cool, man. Hey, man. But just remember, man, like, comment, subscribe, smash the like button, turn on post notifications.
Yeah.
Please do that, man. And we everywhere. We everywhere. We everywhere.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Shoot, but hey, without no further ado, no pressure.
No diamonds.
Let's get it.